Hello, everyone, and welcome to another podcast. This is the summer break one, once again discussing SL1 and SL2 and the predictions for the rest of the season, and also catching up with what we guessed last time out in spring break. I'm joined by Carlos Martin, commentator in Super Lights, also manager of NetRex, and he's wearing champion on his t-shirt, which I think is a little premature, but welcome, Carlos. and also Caitlin Penny, Super League commentator as well. Welcome back, Caitlin. So first off, Carlos, have you enjoyed your summer break? What have you been up to?
Oh, yeah, I really did. I really needed a summer break, not from GPV, from, normal life stuff. But yeah, just went to the beach, Italy. Perfect. I would recommend you some places to go.
It's all right when you're down on the Mediterranean, isn't it? It's just easy. You just drive around to another beach. I have to say, we did have some quite nice weather, didn't we, Caitlin? What did you get up to over the last few weeks?
Yeah, the weather's been pretty good. I should know because I've mainly been working outside. So to be honest, it's been okay for me. I've had a little bit of a break. Obviously, I missed the last Super League race, and I'm a little disappointed about that because it was a good one. But no, I've had a good time. I've been up in a glider. That was pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
I've
not flying, presumably.
No, just as a passenger. But no, it was a winch launch, so it was like absolutely brutal. Just yeet and up you go quicker than you can blink, and then your head feels like it's exploding. It was good.
Like
how long was your flight? Because sometimes you can stay in the air for a long time using the currents near the mountains and stuff, can't you? So
it was only about 5 minutes. I know that sounds ridiculously short, but it was an open day, and they wanted to get as many people up there as they could, so they were doing like quick fire flights and stuff like that. I'm surprised. Honestly, they were on such a tight schedule. I'm surprised they actually landed the thing. They didn't just get me to parachute out and then like throw the next person up or something.
No, it's a really cool thing to do, gliding, and yes, on my bucket list actually as it goes. So yeah, right. Let's get cracking. So first of all, let's have a look at some of the let's have a look at the results since we spoke in spring. First of all, for Super Lights. So the standings as they are right now, before we head into the next round at Monza, we can see that Ruben Macheda was leading the championship. He's been overtaken now by Jose Soriano for NetRex. And I don't think that was on any of our bingo cards when we spoke about it in spring. So it's definitely been an improvement for Soriano, or it's been a downhill spiral for Macheda, certainly in the driver standings. And there's three teams then battling for the Constructors Championship there as well. So you've got True North, Optiminal, and NetRex all very close at the top of the pile. And Carlos, obviously, I'll go to you first, both being commentator and owner of NetRex. How has it been for you since the spring break? Obviously, you've Soriano now at the top.
Well, it has been stressful. We are doing our best effort, and everyone does, right? Their best effort, and that is pretty stressful. I think so far in the season has been a very clean fight between the three teams, and that is very appreciative, right, from all ends. And I think Macheda was a bit unfortunate in some actions. He had a big moment in the German Grand Prix, and that ended his race. And in a similar manner, he had two small mistakes at the Hungaroring. It just ended with him not finishing the race either way. So, Soriano was able to win those two races and create this gap that ironically Macheda had before the spring break compared to Soriano. And now is game on for the drivers and game on for the constructors.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very close to the top of both championships. I think Murno is probably out of the drivers slightly. It's obviously anything can happen, but I think from Murno down, it's going to be tricky to catch back up. And obviously Pushka had a good start to the season and hasn't been able to continue that form. But yeah, it's been the top three in the drivers, Soriano, Macheda, and Jakab, who have been the form of the class of SL2. When it comes to the teams, though, I mean, what has made the difference for NetRex, do you think, given that it's been very close in the early part of the season. You've just had that. I mean, Netrex has just had that little bit of extra level. What's the reason for that, do you think?
Well, we are the most developed car from the whole field in terms of car performance. When you take into account the pit and so on, then there is some other teams that are able to just be up there, like Lunark, for example. But Optiminal and True North are slightly behind in this manner. So I think the slight edge that Soriano has right now is more related to that. And he's able to just right now to capitalize, and let's see how True North and Optiminal are able to catch up in this matter, because as soon as you develop a lot, then everything is slowed down. So this gap that there is right now, it will shrink slightly, not completely, but slightly. So maybe they can just catch up in this matter.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's just one of those things that the teams will do this a little bit towards the end of the season, especially second and third in the championship. They're only 10 points apart. And R&D development does make a massive difference. What upgrades you do and when, it does make a difference. It gives you that 10th and a half, as well as selecting new engines for the right rounds as well. So, Caitlin, from your point of view, I mean, you've obviously commentated on Super League for many, many years. There's a few teams in Super League that are struggling. Would you like to see 2 or 3 of these move up to Super League? Potentially all 3 of the top 3 in the championship look like they could be strong contenders if they moved up to Super League.
Yeah, I agree. I like the relegation and promotion system that we have going from season to season. I like the way that it's not necessarily like the top 3 teams go up, the bottom 3 teams go down or whatever. That doesn't always work. We've seen in the past there have been teams who have dropped out, or teams who have been promoted and then haven't really fitted the season they've gone into, the series they've gone into. But you're absolutely right. I mean, the top 3 teams there in Super Light are in a league of their own. You can see there's a jump of like 70 points from 3rd to 4th position. And, Netrex, True North and Optiminal are absolutely Super League spec. There's no denying that. And there's some teams in Super League who, as you said, are struggling. But yeah, that's why we have the promotion system.
Absolutely, and it's benefited all sorts of different teams. TOP have come through, ourselves, THR have come up through the ranks. So it's good to have that promotion relegation system in place. And obviously, it's just whether 2 or 3 teams, whether it's going to be that many or that few. Carlos, would you say, I mean, given your ties with TOP and all the other teams in Super League, would you say that Netrex is a team that you want to promote to Super League, or would you leave them in Super Lights as kind of like a junior version of TOP? How would it work?
Unless there is a big surprise, we are not going to promote. And it's precisely what you say. There needs to be like, I don't know, a shocker that some of us pull out and then Netrex promotes. No, I think it's good for the community and for the league that there is a, percentage of team that you don't exceed over working with too many people, right? Otherwise, it would be your own league, right? That's why, just to preserve that, unless, as I say, unless something unexpected happens, we will not apply for it. We will stay in SL2. I know some rumors regarding the other 2 teams, which I'm not really allowed to speak about because it's direct data that they told me about next year. But it's going to be interesting, I think, 2026, although I think it's better to focus the conversation in the 2025 and what have we seen so far, right? We have had some predictions from the past podcast. I think it would be good to review them. What do you think?
Yeah, no, 100%. Let's have a look. Go on, Caitlin. Sorry, Carl said, what did you think, Caitlin? It's my bad.
About what? Sorry, I've said my piece.
Yeah, no,
yes.
We need to have a look at what we spoke about in spring, don't we, and see how that relates to well, I guess we're going to make some guesses as to who's going to win the championships in SL2 as well. We have submitted those answers, and I think those. I've tried to be a little bit left field with mine, so we'll see.
Yeah, it is worth noting though, because I know that the Drivers' Championship is the one that people focus on or whatever. It is worth noting that the Teams' Championship, there is a lot to fight for, because as I said before, we don't necessarily know that the top 3 teams are going up. It could be that the top 2 teams go up to Super Lights or whatever, and then there's going to be one very strong team who is left out. And the teams just don't know that, so they've got to go out there and fight for all they're worth. For all we know, there could be 4 or 5 slots open in Super League next year, and that close fight that we see for 4th there between Brem GP, Lunark, Fusion, Drake, etc., could be the fight for a Super League spot. So keep your eye on that. Keep your eye on the Constructors Teams Championship. Don't overlook it in favour of the drivers.
100%. Well, let's see what we guessed in spring, Carlos.
Yes.
Do you want to go first?
I have the data here. We guessed by round 11. Well, I'll go. I said that my surprise was Fusion Racing, and more or less, yeah, they lost to Murno, which is a big hit for them. It's unfortunate, and well, they lost it to True North, who is substituting actually Jan Dragoon, who was underperforming the first half of the season until he decided to move to do different things, to do new things. I predicted Jose Soriano to be on the rise, and well, he was in the rise, not as much as I thought. Well, even more than I thought, I have to say. And I predicted championship leader by round 11, Ruben Machete.
Mm-hmm. Bless you.
Sorry. Yeah, well, obviously now Soriano is leading the championship. He had such a big lead after round 6, and that's why I predicted Machete. Even though Soriano was going to catch up on the standings, I didn't think he would lose the lead. He is also one race behind even, so 28 points is a big distance, but we have seen that can be reverted again.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. You can lose and gain 25 points very quickly in Super Lights and Super League, as we've seen from Machado, who's lost effectively. He lost 50 points to Soriano at Germany and Hungary. So it can work that way. Caitlin, let's have a look at your predictions and how we've done as a result.
Brace yourself. Okay. My big surprise so far was driving standards. I did not know what else to say, but you can go back and look at the last podcast for that discussion if you so wish.
I'm sorry. I love the icon for this that Remco uses. Great, it's the tick.
It's like a thumbs up. Yeah, go on then. I have to say the last couple of races I've seen have been, I don't know. I haven't been quite so impressed, but I'm sure that there's plenty of time to go in the season. As for underperforming drivers or teams or whatever, I did not feel confident putting a name forward. I hadn't seen enough of Super Lights. But this is where it all starts to fall apart. It all starts to go to pot, because I predicted Jan Dragoon as my on-the-rise driver, and then he only went and disappeared. Yeah. I don't know what happened to Jan. I don't really understand it, but hey, he was doing well. He was going to do even better, and then he was like, well, now I'm not doing it. And he hasn't been seen in the last 3 rounds, and even the 3 rounds before that, he didn't score any points, so I guess I wouldn't have been right anyway, but whatever. As for the championship leader, you mentioned before that nobody predicted that Ruben Machete would lose the championship lead. He had a very comfortable championship lead, if I remember correctly. It was like 20 points.
20-ish points, yeah.
And he's just not... I mean, admittedly, Soriano has had an awesome run of form. He won in Germany, he won in Hungary. I watched the Belgian round, and he was doing awesomely in that. He only narrowly lost that race. And at the same time, Machete just hasn't brought home the results. Those 2 races I mentioned, Germany and Hungary, Machete has failed to finish. So Well, we did have quite a comfortable championship lead for the German. He's actually 28 points behind now, which is over a race win. And, I won't make the same mistake again of saying that's a comfortable lead, but to be honest, it's going to take quite something for Soriano to lose it now.
Just literally cursed him. I mean, yeah, I agree. I agree with you, though. I mean, none of us saw Mercedes not leading the championship, and then he's had 2 DNFs in the last 5. I mean, the 5 races we've had since the spring break, and as you say, Dragoon as well. I mean, he had 3rd, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and a DNF going into the summer break. Going into the races before the summer break, excuse me. And then the DNF 18th DNF disappeared. So yeah, I mean, you can't predict that really, given his previous form. So I think mine are going to be fun to bring up because I actually can't remember mine, but we'll have a look now. Oh yes, of course. So I did say that Ruben Mercedes was the surprise and would lead the championship, which, as we all got that wrong. Underperforming David Feizak. David had to leave the championship due to some personal stuff. I believe he's going to try to come back before the end of the season. It's the same as Dragoon, I guess. And I did get the Soriano pick correct. So I think Carlos copied my homework there.
Yeah, sure. we did the same prediction on the rise, SL1 and SL2, both of us. And it was a funny thing, so different minds even think alike, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well,
so, yes.
We all got wrong, right? The championship leader, but that shows that 20 points is a big gap, but not enough.
So I guess, Carlos, the question is who's going to win the championship, really, isn't it? And who have you got as your championship winning pick?
So I did a top 3, if I remember correctly. I did, I'll go for the graphic. Norbert Jakob, Mercedes, and Soriano. I went pretty well, exactly as it is now. Maybe I don't want to sound too high on Soriano. I think maybe the one that I'm more doubtful is the P3 one from Norbert, because Murnau is pushing very hard. But both are extremely good quality drivers, and it will just come to very detailed things. And Mercedes, I think he generally has a higher ceiling than Soriano. I think just Soriano is able to be more consistent besides the 2 disconnections he had. If he doesn't have any disconnection or anything happening to any other of the drivers, my prediction is Soriano to take the title from now till the end.
Okay. I mean, I can't argue with any of the logic, other than I've gone a different route. But Caitlin, let's have a look at your driver picks next.
Okay. So from absolutely backing Ruben Mercedes in the last podcast, I have now swung completely the opposite direction. As you can see, I've gone for the top 3, who are the top 3 in the championship now, but I've swapped 2nd and 3rd. And there's one simple reason for that, which is that Jakob is trending upwards. His last 3 race results have been first DNF. And Mercedes is trending downwards. His last 3 results have been DNF, 4th DNF. And I've got to say, yes, there's 19 points between them, but we've seen before that, even 20 points is not entirely comfortable with 5 races. So, yeah, I've put Soriano to keep P1 and then for Jakob to snatch it away from Mercedes right at the end.
Yeah, I agree completely. So I've gone exactly the same route. So I too think that Ruben has, I think he absolutely got the talent. I mean, he was with, when it was called Nocturne, he was with Nocturne a couple of years ago, back end of a Super League season. I know his potential. I know he's a quality driver. But he has had 2 DNFs in the last 3. Hasn't won a race since the spring break, whereas Jakob has won 2. And obviously was absent for 1 round. and DNF'd the other at Hungary, which was a bit of an issue for his championship challenge. But yeah, I've done the same. I think Soriano will win the championship from there. He's 28 points. He's a whole race victory ahead right now, so it's quite a large gap to surmount. So I've done the same thing.
Wow, that's surprising. When I was doing the prediction, I was thinking more who would win, and I had it more between Ruben and Soriano. I think the gap that Soriano and Ruben currently have, it will shrink. It will shrink until the end of the season. And you guys think, it could still shrink, right? But you guys think that even Jakob will challenge him, which is, well, I say it like Michele closing up and being fairly close, going championship winning last race, Brazil. That's where I expect the championship to be finished, driver-wise. So yeah, I expect it to be very close. It's not like it's going to be an easy journey for Soriano.
Okay. Well, I think we've all talked about the drivers. Let's have a little look at the team predictions. I'll go first. So Superlight's team's predictions for me was a little bit more tricky to guess which way around these would be. I have gone for as they are right now in the championship, but it is very tight, and pretty much anything can happen from here. But for Jakob and Machida to be out last round has really cost True North and Optimal in the team. So I think it's 20 odd points gap again to Netrex at the top. So congratulations, Carlos.
I think it's more tricky, this one. The constructors, they have two extremely good drivers on Murnau and Jakob. Will be hard to match them. If you guys don't mind, I will go with mine right now.
Yep.
I actually predicted the same, but I think here is more with my heart. I didn't know my heart was that big.
What was that?
That was my. You can't see it, but it's my drinks bottle. You won't be able to see that.
Yeah, no worries. The thing is, here my mind says it's going to be True North. My heart says it's going to be Netrex, and I really, well, there is no explanation really. If I do a logic prediction, I would say True North. They have, and this is not demerit to Harry.
Sorry, how is your logic saying True North?
Yeah, I think they get like better average points than what Harry and Soriano actually get, and it will be enough to cut down the gap to just get us at the end. Yeah, also in Brazil, I predicted to be decided.
Okay.
I choose with my heart the prediction.
Okay. Caitlin?
Okay, let's have a look at mine. I have totally agreed with you, Toby. I've gone for exactly the same top three, and I've been boring. It's exactly how they are right now. The simple reason is
It's not going to end like this.
I just think that's the order. I just think that's the pecking order, you know? I think that's how they stand. Optimal haven't actually won a race in a little while now.
Mm-hmm.
Netrex and True North have been trading them between each other for a good few races now. The last 4 to be precise. And I just see that as the current pecking order.
I think Optimal have a second driver issue right now as well, given that they've had to. They've obviously had Herlock's left, and they've got a second driver issue, and of course the same goes for True North. Although they have drafted Murnau, who's very talented. I think it'll be between Netrex and True North on that basis, and I think on balance, especially Harry Smith's come on a long way this season from some of the earlier rounds. He's had a podium at Hungary, 5th at Nürburgring, so which could have been even higher. So yeah, it's close. It's going to be close between those two, especially I think team wise. So that is our SL2 predictions. Obviously, we've all picked Netrex to win the title, which obviously means they won't, based on what we said about Roof.
Sorry, Carlos.
Just as a reminder, last year we went to Monza leading the championship by almost 60 points in constructors, and we lost it still in the last race. So anything can happen. Yeah, in F1.
Yeah, and anything can happen. I think we've chosen the most likely things to happen. I think we probably got it pretty close, I would imagine, but we'll see what happens. Right, SL1 time then, guys.
Yes.
Where should we start? Caitlin, let's go with you first.
Right.
So this is what we thought in spring.
Yeah, take a look at my. Here's the standings as it is. So like Mounier.
Oh,
it's all right. Leave it there.
Right.
Spoilers. Go watch.
This is picks from previous podcasts. It's fine. This is what we're talking about anyway.
That's okay. All right. So my biggest surprise of the season so far, I went for Valet Esports. I did that partly because I've been genuinely impressed by how they're going, and I did that partly to wind up Carlos. As for my underperforming driver, I said that Stefan Rohr was going to be on the rise soon, and I genuinely think that he has been. I think that Stefan Rohr, while he was underperforming at the start of the season, is picking it up now. I'm realizing now that that's not the same thing as on the rise, because on the rise, I picked Carlos Martin, and I would argue that I deserve the point for that, because yes, Carlos, I know you were working out before this podcast that Stefan has technically scored more points than you in the last 5 races, but you said it yourself, you had a DNF in Canada. That was unfortunate. And I actually think that performances like your German Grand Prix qualifying and stuff like that are big enough to outweigh anything that Stefan has done. So I would call that a moral victory. But no, genuinely, Carlos, you have been on the rise. Last 4 results, they're all top 10 finishes, and 3 out of 4 of them have been top 5s. So you're getting there. Keep it going, dude. You're going to be on the podium soon.
I think
just wait 7 days, I guess.
Yeah. And then last but not least, who did I put as championship leader? Was it Jan Grangfist or?
No, you said Luc Meunier because you changed last minute. And you said you did.
Yeah.
You did change last minute and just to do something different, and you said that Luc Meunier will lead the championship, which he's leading right now, the championship, by a good margin of points as well. I can't remember if it was 20-ish points as well. I think it was maybe Remco can show us the standings now. Just a moment. Yeah, 24 points. 24 points distance, also quite a big gap. But here I somehow feel that the gap is more difficult to maintain for Loic compared to what it is in SL2. And we shall not forget Tom, which is, even though it's 35 points, you win Monza, you win Mexico, and then the gap is very likely to be already 10 points different. So I don't think anyone is really left out for the championship charge. From the top 3, top 4, 6, they are not far away, but obviously it's more difficult. But I could see Tom having a higher ceiling in this regard.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where it's tricky with Super League because obviously things change so quickly. If someone picks a used engine or does an upgrade for a certain round, it flip-flops in terms of form. But I mean, in my defense, I didn't know that Jan was missing 2 rounds. So when we come to if we look at my picks, or just might as well do them now. I did have Jan as the championship leader, but he scored 134 points over 9 finishes. If you average that out, it's 15 points per round. 2 rounds missed, 30 points on top of his total, puts him top. So I think I still get the point. I did have like Mounier as the surprise. He really surprised me this season and still leads the championship. I don't know whether he'll be able to finish the season in that position. We'll see. And then I had Stefan on the rise as my pick. I think he had a series of DNFs right before the rate during the spring break. He's had 4 DNFs in a row. For me, it was, he was going to be someone who would then compete, and indeed he's got 5th, 8th, 6th, 4th, and 5th in the 5 races we've had since the last podcast. So he's been scoring plenty of points, and of course you can't overlook a former champion. I think he was one of the 3 or 4 drivers that probably could have won at Hungary as well. So yeah, Lehoux hasn't done anything to tell me I was wrong, sadly.
He did the podium at Spa, though.
Oh yes, you're right. He did. I forgot about that.
He did the podium. It was like, these things that, results are not final and so on. But
yeah. But he had a DNF at Canada, DNF at Britain, 21st at Nürburgring, and Hungary. He had a DNF in the other 4 races.
Maggio has 4 DNFs in a row and no participation, something like that. So
look,
in the Maggio Lehoux fight, still a bit Lehoux over it. Just a bit.
I mean,
just a bit.
Maggio just needs to connect his internet up to something that's not a phone,
or connect the tires as well. Maggio and I, we chilling. We're good pals, and we were able to do this kind of jokes. He's very talented. He just needs to put everything together, and it will be a force to be reckoned, to be honest.
I agree absolutely. He's very, very quick and young as well. And for me, if I didn't know about his internet, I would have put him as my on the rise person. Even though he qualified first at Australia. So yeah. Have we done everyone's previous picks?
Fine. Mines are lacking.
Sorry, Carlos.
No worries. Are very similar to yours. I said Jeffrey was a surprise for the first races, especially with his performance at Barcelona. Underperforming rowing, and he's still being in this shallow part of the field that it's super competitive, right? The midfield, it's super, super, super tight. 1/10 can push you up 10 positions, basically. And the reason why I picked Stefan is also he had a slow start, but I somehow, not only on DNFs and so on, also pace-wise. Pace-wise, he was far away and so on. I mean, I see daily, so I know where he was at compared to other people and so on. And I could see him trending upwards in pace. Then results are different, right? Like you can improve in pace and then results might come or not, but you are improving, right? And that should be not enough for yourself, but as a good, starting point. And I predicted Loic to be a championship leader. And even though Jan missed 2 races, I think he's also had a lot of pace besides Hungaroring, where he had a clear tire issue problem, where he was just basically dropping the pace. Even though 1 lap pace, we could see him just clocking pole, but he wouldn't find a way to transform these during the race. He had just a weak race at Canada, where he had multiple incidents and then only scoring 1 point. But besides that, podiums, victories, and just 1 race off. And so good second part of the season. B+ for Loic, I would say.
Yeah. I also wonder about Spark's ability to continually develop, given that they're a new Super League team as well, and whether or not they'll throw everything into this season, or we'll have to try and save something for next year. That's a question I have in my mind as well. So we'll see whether that plays out that way or not. Caitlin?
I mean, you can always do... this is something we never spoke about. You have to book 300 points, right, for the car. But
Yep.
if you are not able to book them, you will refill them in the preseason test. So maybe, I don't know, Spark is saying, okay, we go send everything right at the factory, keep building, and next year they are far behind because of this.
Yeah,
it's a strat.
It's not just RD though. It's money as well, of course. Yeah. So it depends. I mean, I don't know the financial situation of every team, but I know, we've almost spent our RD budget for this season compared to last, and it's a question of whether we want to continue and go into the negative or not really. So that's something for us. I mean, we do have
money wise or RD.
Yeah. Don't forget we have like £800 million worth of Tom Stevens and Jarl Tyen. They're very expensive drivers, so we have a bit of a different financial balance to make.
There is not much ruling about how negative. I mean, you are supposed to be always above 1 million. I think it's a good discussion point, right? You're always supposed to be 1 million above, but then the GPVWC bank, which I guess it's in Switzerland, for good measure, can give you a loan. I don't know what is the.
I don't
rate
think
of
you
interest,
can do it. I don't
know.
think it's for competitive. It's more for like if you've massively misunderstood the bidding process, or from what I can understand, for example, you massively overbid on sponsors or overpay on a designer. If you do that because you haven't understood how much people might bid, then maybe you get a loan and some education about it. I think that's what it's there for. Because I have asked this question a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
But so it's not really for, I've overspent this year, can I have a loan? Because, well, if you've overspent for performance reasons, that's a bit different. It's more for, if you've, for example, had 3 drivers drop out that you've paid for a whole season, promised they'd do a full season. They happen to be Adam Maguire and, Jake Dennehan and all the most expensive drivers. So it's kind of that. Anyway,
or if you've done a Red Bull and overspent on catering.
Yeah. Well, this is it, isn't it? I mean, if you've massively overspent on RD, it's not gonna likely end up with a loan. So
I didn't know. That's why I just mentioned. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's fact. I'm just saying that's my understanding of the kind of like what it's there for. It's not there to just bail people out so that they can spend more on RD. It's not really for that.
I can't say much, but I know some other teams are already struggling big time with the money. I can only speak for Netrex. Of course, Netrex has no problem. It has like 80 million in the bank, something like that.
You'll find.
The rest, I know some others are already struggling big time.
Yeah, well, I mean, as I say, if we go any further, we'll be in the red for this season. So at THR, which is something we need to think about. So most likely we're pretty much done. Anyway, so let's have a look at predictions then, Caitlin. Sorry, we've just done a lot of RD waffle.
That's okay. No, I'm really enjoying this RD waffle. It's the kind of GPVWC. We need like what was Mike Pittman's old podcast called, where he spoke about the Scrutineer. We need something like the Scrutineer back.
Sim News, and the Scrutineer. Sim News TV. He was. It's on my helmet because me and Mike had a little agreement a couple of years ago. So
yeah, it used to be on my helmet too. But anyway, so this is the Super League predictions, is it?
Yes.
All right. All right. Could we get mine up? So I have got Jan Granqvist to retake the lead of the championship. I know it's a big ask. I know he is 24 points behind, but Jan Granqvist has been. I mean, he's been Jan Granqvist. He is that driver. He is that guy. It reminds me a lot of the 1994 Formula One season where Michael Schumacher had to miss 2 races due to a suspended ban, and he pushed and pushed to build up the points advantage before his break. Couldn't quite, ended up losing the championship lead to Damon Hill, if I remember correctly. And then the rest of the season was all about can Schumi catch Hill, and it ended up in that pretty farcical championship finale. But anyway, Jan Granqvist, I do think that he has what it takes to overhaul Loic. I think Loic is a phenomenal driver, and I think he's had a phenomenal year, but I share your sentiment, Toby, where I don't know what Spark's development is going to be like, and for a new team, it is always a big ask to hold on to the lead of the championship. Not that it can't be done. I remember THR's first year. That was pretty special. But there you go. And then speaking of THR, Tom Stevens is solid in third position there. I thought his drive at Hungary was pretty damn good, and I can't see him dropping outside of the top 3. I can even see him challenging for higher positions. So yeah, watch that.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I have a slightly different picture on what I think is going to happen. So before we let Carlos loose, let's have a little look.
I just want to say I want to be the last one for the constructors. That's the only thing I am asking.
Yeah,
I can go now if you want, Toby. If you have a bump, save it. I will just say Mainz right now, because Mainz is not changing at all the current standings. So Loic is in P1, Jan is in P2, and Tom is in P3. I'm fairly confident on Loic's capabilities to bring this home for himself. I also saw Super Venturi was a bit far in development compared to Spark. They were almost 50 points behind, and even though he struggled a bit at Hungaroring, it's not like the regular thing. And even though if Spark stops developing, I don't think it will be like 100 points behind or 120 points behind. They already developed quite a lot. So if they fall behind, it will be like a few points, and I don't think it will be like the factor. The factor will be how they race, how they manage all the upcoming races, rain races, crazy races, because Monza is a crazy race. Singapore is a crazy race always, even though it's a train, but crazy things happen.
It's a crazy train, you could say.
Brazil, yeah, crazy. In Brazil happens, and then the pressure of the last race. I also predict to be decided last race. So wait, before I said Brazil, I meant to say last race. Yeah, it will be decided in the last round. Every single category. Yeah, Abu Dhabi, correct.
Yeah.
So I think it will be decided the last race. Will be very fairly close between the 3 drivers. I think Tom will finish between 8 and 10 points behind the P1 in the standings. So I think everything is gonna narrow down. Not enough to change.
I like that sound effect. I think momentum makes a big difference. I think Tom would have won in Belgium probably if he hadn't had his incident, which I think would have helped his which I think would have helped his championship score massively. And I think, like, obviously it's insider stuff, but I think we found a lot of detail in the setup that we were missing before, and it's quite useful. We've had easily the best race pace and nowhere near as good qualifying pace as what we need, but we found some detail, and I think if you have a look, if you bring my predictions up, I think there's a couple of factors here. I think Super Venturi haven't developed as well as they could have done. I think Spark will have to stop developing one way or the other. And for me, Jan was 6th and then 7th, and then obviously 2 did not appear. We'll see whether his heart's in it to keep committing to that. But even then, Tom's only 11 points back, and he's already put effort into Monza. It's a track we understand what we need to do setup wise as well. We were it was 1-3 for THR with obviously 2-3 for THR with Jarl winning it for Nocturne last season. So yeah, I think we can. I think Tom can win the championship, and I think he's got the momentum on his side personally.
Good on you for backing your driver. Yeah, that's good.
I mean, I'm trying to be. I'm also being a little left field there. I think the obvious thing to do is to pick the driver that's 24 points in the lead right now, which is Loic. And of course, he won at Spa as well. But yeah, for me, I think Loic has proven to have some races where he's just not quite there. He's had a couple of races where he's made kind of fairly rookie mistakes, as of most drivers this season. But yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to finish it off. There's 5 races left, plenty of points to be had. So that's my opinion.
Fair enough. We have 3 different predictions here, so that's good. Although we agreed that all these 3 will remain in the top 3.
Yeah.
That is true. We just kind of rejigged them. No one throwing out a Shimon or a Mache or a...
And they are fairly close to Tom in points-wise as well.
Yeah. I mean, Jarl has had a win this season. Shimon has had a win this season at
Silverstone.
So they could both get a couple of race wins, but then they equally, both of them have had some disasters for one reason or another. And Shimon's been slightly off it last few rounds as well. Whether he's, I don't know why, couldn't say. So yeah, he's he could be there, he could not. But for me, championship wise, I think Tom and Jan both have had experience in Super League of putting that championship challenge together overall, and for me, it's actually between those 2 for me.
Okay.
Watch Loic win, and I'd be very pleased for him if he did.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think anyone who wins a championship as intense as this one would absolutely deserve it. But you could see on that screen there just how close it actually is. I mean, to put it into perspective, Shimon and... Well, there you go. So Shimon and Jarl, I was looking at them earlier and thinking, God, that's close. They're on exactly the same number of points. They're only 2 points behind Mache and 7 points behind Tom. They're well and truly in the fight for 3rd in the championship. And there have been races in the past where we've had, shock winners coming out of absolutely nowhere. As much as I respect Shimon, I did not expect him to win in Silverstone. And, if you can win one Grand Prix, you can win more. So how the rest of the season is going to go is up in the air. And I'm not surprised at all that we've all gone for slightly different predictions.
Yeah, it's tricky. There's as you say, there's 4 or 5 people at least who are in the fight at any given round. So it's one of those seasons. It's not straightforward this season at all. The last couple of seasons we've had kind of 2 contenders, haven't we, at the top of the charts, and that's been Tom Stevens and Jake Dennehan, and then obviously Jan and Tom last season. Jan was there or thereabouts in 23, but yeah, it's certainly been much more open this season, which is good. It's good for the championship, I think. So, Caitlin, that's the driver's side of things. What have you put down teams-wise?
Well, let's see, shall we? So, for the teams, I have, and you'll be very pleased to see this, gone for THR in P1. I think THR have the most well-rounded driver lineup. I think they have the momentum, and I think they're going to do it. As for second place, at the minute, there's only 6 points between TOP and Super Venturi. I personally think that could go either way, but I have gone for... There's actually only 4 points between them looking at the championship standings now. I've gone for Super Venturi because I think Jan will be back to the top of his game. The real wild card there, of course, is Jukka-Pekka Lalu, because obviously the other Super Venturi driver has not had the same kind of results. His best result this year has been 2 8th place finishes. But I have to say, I think that he tends to do better towards the end of the year. I also think that he is capable of more than he's shown, and I think that when they really start to feel the pressure of the championship fight, they're going to pick up the game just a little bit. And of course, TOP Esports, your team, Carlos, you guys are also in the mix, very competitive, but it had to go one way or the other out of Super Venturi or TOP, and I just felt more with Super Venturi.
I think I like your point about THR. I do think they do have. I mean, Jarl and Tom are both on the same level, absolutely. I think TOP is similar as well. I think both Carlos and Shimon are fairly comparable, and that's why for me I've actually swapped. So I've swapped TOP and Super Venturi around. I've got THR obviously winning the championship, but TOP coming second ahead of Super Venturi for that reason. And it's no offense to Lalu at all, but there's just that disparity between the two. And if Jan doesn't turn up and win, then I don't see how they're going to get as many points as they need to win the title personally, unless they obviously if they draft in another driver of the caliber of Jake Dennehan again, then obviously it's a different story. One interesting thing to say as well is that they didn't have both drivers turn up at Belgium. Obviously Jan wasn't there, but neither was Jake. So they only had one driver start that race. That's actually a big.
It was supposed to be Sandeep, but he injured the same day of the race. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's actually quite a big financial penalty for next season. For entry fee money, you have to start every race with two drivers. So that's going to be an issue for them in next season. So hopefully they can. And this is another reason that I put them third as well. That hopefully they know that because they'll need to save a little bit of money there's like a multiplier depending on how many races you attend with both drivers. So
really, I didn't know this.
Mm-hmm. So yes, this is very important stuff for the future of. I mean, it's not loads of money, but it's still enough to make a difference to your overall budget. There's like you have to appear 100% of the time. This is why. If you don't have two drivers, you don't turn up with two drivers. It's a real struggle. It's a continuous downward spiral financially. It's really difficult to recover from. So it's even if you only turn up and do the start, it's better than not turning up at all. Anyway, Carlos, you wanted to be last.
Well, mine is very different from anything you have seen, and. The same that Toby says they found something, we did as well. And I know how far we will go with development this year.
Okay.
And I know that even though THR comes from a 1-2, which is the best thing you can achieve, we have, personally, I was very close in all these races to contested, and I think with some different things that Shimon was struggling, we can recover this gap that there is now, and TOP to take the championship. And most importantly, I think HRT is not being counted in, because if we check the standings, HRT has been recovering so many points in the last races because Stefan and Maciej have been up there taking results slightly, and Super Venturi, they won Nürburgring with Jake, and they had a very unfortunate race at Spa. But of course, THR is the favorite. I said it 20 times. I'm probably being ultra delusional. I have confidence on what we are doing, which I didn't have at the beginning of the season. But it's more likely even HRT to finish second than fourth, to be honest.
You think TOP will be first and HRT second?
No. If they finish second, TOP is not finishing first. Of course, THR is finishing first. But
Okay.
I could see in a world that, for example, I fumble again, Shimon fumbles again, and they overtake Super Venturi and myself and TOP, sorry, and we are pushed down to fourth, and they are promoted to second. Because 17 points constructor-wise is not a big deal. I think, you can go up to 45 points in one race. And they have been consistently, both drivers, Mace and Stefan, taking points silently because nobody is noticing, but they are. They are taking points every race. And I think this silent, hiking, it will pay off for them. The other thing, TOP winning, it goes. I still predicted Tom to be third, and that is because I think it will be me who will take the points for the team in the last 5 races. Ironically, I know it's maybe going too high on myself, but I know some things that it will be basically me the reason to score more points at the end of the season.
Okay.
I tell you what, it's good to see you backing yourself for once. At the start of the year, you're like, THR are going to win 11 out of 16 races, and Shimon's going to beat me in every single session. And now you're like, yeah, I got this. I can do this.
I still think Shimon is better than me, but there are some of the things that will push me forward. Let's put it this way.
Fair enough.
I mean, I've backed my. Obviously, I'm going to back my own team at this stage of the season. I think it's a little easier to do that than when we were struggling and crashing into each other at Suzuka, for example. But it's definitely been better since the spring break, and even though not necessarily all the results are there on paper.
Yeah.
Jarl finished in the podium on track at Spa, and it was obviously 1-2 at Hungary. Tom could have won at Spa, I think, as well. Although it was a completely random race, you can't really say that. But
it was so difficult.
For me, Silverstone was an insane race for THR, where Jarl started 26th and finished 5th, and Tom was like 12th, pitted and finished 3rd. So yeah, I think we've got an advantage in the race that I think will make a difference, especially at the tracks coming up. Even Singapore these days is easier to overtake out than what we've had recently. So yeah, it's not like we're doing Jeddah and USA and Hungary again, where you just can't overtake anyone. It's too difficult. So.
Well, that sums up for the predictions from Messel 1, and now comes the surprise that we prepared for this podcast, which is a game we prepared all together. So I will explain the game that we will play now. We have a budget of 15 million to enter Super League, and we will need to decide 5 features for the team. We need to decide a number 1 driver, a number 2 driver, a manager, a car, and an engine. And as a number 1 driver, who will be the leading driver to score points, we have Jan Grandbis, which will cost a 5 million. It will have a 5 million cost. We have Lloyd Monier, who is the current leading champion, with a $5 million. Sorry, and then we have Stevens, Maggio, and Mechele as the rest of the number 1 drivers. As a number 2 driver, a driver who will do the team play, who will help with the development, with the setup, and so on, we have Thomas Schwach, we have Sven Schubert, we have Heiko Pum, Ruben Möhling, and Zux, from the most expensive one to the cheapest one. Then as managers, we also have the current champion and 2023-2024, Toby Davis, also leading the 2025 championship. We have also one of the most experienced managers here, as Menno Klont. We also have Sandeep Singh, who won twice in a row the Super Lights Championship, who is now currently in the grid of SL2, and Carter McCollman, who is in the SL2 grid, and Christian Vastar. Then we have 5 different cars, which The aerodynamics and the engine are basically equal, which only matters is the development points. We have Spark as the most developed car per Hungarian, and that's why it's the most expensive one. We have Edge as a 4 million cost car, Green Stripes, Netrex, and then Gallery 82 as the cheapest one. And then for the engines, of course, Viper, who has won the championship twice in a row, has to be the most expensive one. And then experience as well, Reventon, Quasar, who was a bit struggling more this season, then Vertex, the newcomers, as a $2 million, and then Martex as the default engine you can start with. So, Toby, do you want to start with your own selections?
No, I think you should go first, Carlos. Absolutely.
Okay, then I'll go with my own selections, which you will see now on screen. As a number 1 driver, I chose Ruven Mechede. And the reasoning is I think he's a top caliber driver. He has done great races as an emergency this year for Adonis with very little practice. Yeah, he had a good material. We have seen what he can do with a good material, with a good engine, with a good setup, with all these things. And that's why I pair him with a guy that can do great setups, good material, good decision with the development. Thomas Bach, who has scored a pretty big amount of points, and he's a great setup developer. Then for the car, I chose the Edge Sports car, which is the second most developed option in this grid, which is basically 1.5 tenths off from what maybe the Spark can do, but it's still a really good option. Vertex, the cheap and good value option, and then Sandic Sim, which you always need someone to take the good decisions from behind, to set up your servers, to set up everything strategy, to be behind the wall. He has won the championship twice in Super Lights, so there is my go with the game.
Okay. My most interesting thing, I think, is obviously you've gone for a well-developed car and then paired it with Mechede. I think Mechede at 1 million is a steal, but he's also in the same, if you bring up the chart again, Remco, it's the same category as Grankvist, Mounier, and Stevens and Maggio. So it's interesting that you've gone for Mechede there, and Vach is a great choice. Is he worth 5 million? It's only because he's in the D2 category, I think, maybe. But yeah, I like the Edge pick. I think Vertex is a very, very good value engine, given I think you kind of undersold the Vertex engine there. We know the engine development right now is very, very close between all the cars anyway. We've all got different ideas as to which way to go. I think there's a few points in it between the top 2 or 3, or certainly the top 2, which I think is Vertex and Viper. It's interesting. It's almost like we know what we're doing, isn't it, Carlos? Yeah. So for Vertex to be 2 million and Viper to be 5 million, it's a no-brainer there. But where do you think you would finish in the championship with that team?
I don't think you can win the championship with this lineup. I think it will take some more car development to Mechede maybe lead into the championship, but I think a good solid P4, P5 in the constructors is a good start, no? For a new team, you enter into atmosphere. Maybe P4, I think, is the good ceiling they would have, and I think it is super balanced options all along.
Yeah, no, I agree. We're going to revisit this because I think it's really interesting. But Caitlin, what are your thoughts on Carlos's team, and what is your team?
Yeah, I think Carlos is right. I think one thing I picked up on there is that you understand the engine development. From the outside looking in, it's very easy to be like, Oh, I guess Vertex and what's the other? Vertex and Viper have a massive difference between them because one of them's right up this end of the table and the other one's right up the other. But honestly, there's not much between them at this point in the championship, and so I think you went for a good balance there with the Vertex engine. And yeah, that would be quite a driver lineup too. I'd like to see that one.
Yep, absolutely. I think it would. Right. What is your team, Caitlin?
Okay, let's move on to mine. So, for my lead driver, I've gone for Alessandro Maggio. Because, of course I did.
No, I'm laughing because of another thing. The green stripes logo is wrong.
Oh, so it is. Logo. So it is. I hadn't noticed that. Oh my goodness. That's okay.
Remco in our ears. I can't repeat that.
No, Remco has just said something quite unrepeatable. But yes, no. I've gone for Alessandro Maggio as my number one driver because after all that we said in the first podcast of the year, I kind of couldn't not. I have partly done that as a joke, but also Alessandro, I think, is very, very talented, and I think that he's only going to get more talented. With a hotshot driver, you want someone who you can work with, work on. If I was a team manager, I would much rather have a driver who has speed but not much else than somebody who is sensible with their tires and is good with development and stuff like that, but is just has no speed.
Absolutely.
Maggio, we know, has the speed. Absolutely, he does. He's taken 3 pole positions, 2.5 pole positions if you count Australia.
Yep.
It's pretty clear to me that Maggio knows how to drive this car at pace. What he doesn't necessarily know how to do is to keep it there. But hey, he can work on that, and I think that he will get better. As my second driver, I've gone for Tomasz Vok. I think you need somebody intelligent and quick, and honestly, I think Tomasz he's first driver material, let alone second driver, and I think putting him in the second bracket at all is a little bit like I was always going to go for Tomasz Vok. As for Green Rex, or whatever that is...
I mean, technically there is 2 green stripes, in the logo.
That's true. No,
okay, was always going to get something wrong, wasn't he? So bless him.
With my current engine, I decided to go quite middle of the road. I think that in Super League, you can, if you have good drivers, you can outdrive your machinery. And I'm not saying that the development doesn't matter, because it absolutely does, and it's a unique part of GPWC Super League and GPWC competitions. But I am saying that it's not as important as some of the other things in the team, and I think that so long as you have something underneath you that you have a good feel for and that you can develop, then you will be on the right track. So that's why I've gone for the Green Stripes car and the Quasar engine, the good old reliable Quasar. And as for the manager, I've gone for good old Carter McColeman, one of the lesser known managers on that list, but and this is also a lesser known fact, I was quite good friends with Carter a long time ago, and I was actually one of the joint founders of his team. So the team that now is True North, that Carter runs, back when it was TCS Off Racing, I was involved in setting up the team and finding some of the initial personnel who were involved with us, and yeah, that would have been way back in like 2018, back in the ITC days, and when they were long time ago.
Those were the days.
Absolutely. I've not actually spoken to Carter in a while. Carter, if you're watching this, I hope you're doing okay, dude. Your team is absolutely smashing it. We should catch up sometime. It would be cool. But anyway, yeah, me and Carter go way back. He'd be a good what is it, like, he'd be a good Zach Brown to my whoever's above Zach Brown.
Don't think anyone. You could have gone Andrea Stella.
He'd be a good Andrea Stella to my Zach Brown. Yeah, put it that way.
There we go. Yeah, no, I think I want to revisit both of these teams after I've gone through mine. So I'm playing this game, if we bring up the chart again, I'm playing this game on the basis that I have a couple of upgrades in the bank that haven't come in time for Hungary.
Yeah, I did the same mistake, I did exactly the same mistake. So I
was like, because these are the teams at Hungary, right? And I'm thinking, yeah, I've got a couple of upgrades coming from Monza, so don't worry about it. So I played that game. I also think I'm going to talk about my team in a second, but I also think it is very important to have a developed car as opposed to RD points to develop your car at this stage of the season. So if you are behind, it's difficult to catch up at this point. So I think when I first read the game, I was thinking, okay, well, I've got 338 points to spend for the rest of the season, or I've got 442 points to spend for the rest of the season.
No, it's a current development.
No. I then worked that out and decided to ignore it anyway. But yeah, so if we bring up my team, so I'll go through my thinking. So I've gone net Rex for the points. It's 100 points back. It depends on what categories. If it's 80 points behind in front wing, for example, and then only 20 points behind in diffuser, then it's not too bad a car. So it depends on that. So I based it on that. Tom Stevens at £3 million is an absolute steal.
Yes.
And to get him,
you kind of had to, like, you.
Yeah, I can't not pick myself. Yeah, so Tom Stevens, I've gone with Hygo Poom because he did very well in Super Lights a little bit ago. And if I'm building this team for the future, I want me in charge. so I know next season we can win the constructors. So I can't.
Call me Hygo. Ring the bell. Ring the bell.
Hygo, come along, Hygo. Come and join.
You will be this.
We've got no RD points this season, but next season, trust me on this one. Carlos can build an engine. I'm in charge. So yeah, I thought 5 million was a bit unfair for me.
Aren't you the best manager?
I've only been doing this for. I mean,
no. Honestly, let's do this. You have won the last two championships constructor-wise. Aren't you the best manager though?
I think I'm very lucky to have had very, very good drivers driving the THR, and don't forget
is that luck though?
Obviously, THR and FTR are sister teams, yeah. But technically, I was managing FTR in 23 and 24. Yeah. So although I'm THR manager now, technically I was managing FTR for the last 2 seasons, who didn't do as well. Carlos is looking me dead in the eyes. I mean, Chris owned the team. Me and Chris Butcher are co-owners of THR, always have been. Obviously, we had to split responsibility one down the line. So, in effect, it's always been a joint partnership. Chris left the team earlier this season, having been here since 2010. He's still around, but he's not named there anymore, which was a bit of a shame for everyone, really. But yeah, for 15 years, Chris and I ran THR and so on as a joint effort. But technically for this game, am I the best manager? I mean, I've taken over Chris's legacy, I suppose, from that
credit point. Where is credit as well?
Thank you.
Don't take credit of yourself.
But we did have Adam. We did have Adam Maguire, who's very fast, and Tom Stevens, who's unbelievably good, and obviously this year Jarl, who's really brought something to the team.
That is true.
I also think that the reason why they are in a team like yours is because of what you guys do, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't, and you were able to attract other drivers and so on, and there is a reason for that. So,
yeah, I mean, you make your own luck in this sport, but at the same time, I do get what you're saying, Toby, where like most successful doesn't necessarily mean best. There are a lot of things that come into play there, but I also see what Carlos is saying, because you do make your own luck in this sport. If you do end up with the right people around you, it's because you're doing something right. So, yeah, keep doing that.
Thank you. But nevertheless, I want to go back to your guys' teams and just have a look. And I think I'd like everyone who's watching this to comment. Just tell me who's come up with the best team here.
And do your own team as well.
And do your own
share
team
it.
As well. Yeah, absolutely. Do your own team. We'll put the chart up.
Discord.
Yeah. Go into the Discord, go into the YouTube chat. Just let us know what your best team is. We'll bring the chart up in a minute, but this is Caitlin's squad. So I think Maggio. If Maggio had no disconnection issues, he'd have been probably in my team as well. To be honest, given the value, but I just don't. He just doesn't
Tom,
finish races right now.
Tom,
although
I'm noting Tom has to look for a team now.
Yeah, good luck with
that. I took you out, but that can change.
Thomas Vach, it's a race winner, isn't he, in Super League terms? So,
yeah.
For me, it was between spending the money on him or Hygo Boom and trying to save it on Stevens and putting. It was tricky.
I like it. A certain Toby Davis cost you a lot of money.
I know it.
I think it's nice that most of us did different decisions all along. Of course, there are some aspects that are easier to choose and so on, but I think overall we did different decisions, very different teams as well, and it's a nice game. So please play the game, share with us all your options that you have, and yeah, that's we will try to bring another game for the last podcast we will have at the end of the season. Let's see if we can do it before GPV Day, which I'm not sure. We will see if that's possible.
We could do it at GPVWC Day. Come on, in person.
No, we should do an in-person podcast. No, we should. We should do an in-person podcast at when we do our meeting. Well, I'll speak with Will about that.
With a live audience.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be drinking beer, so I'm not gonna be. Maybe I tell Ed or someone else to take my. I'm gonna be celebrating my
let's
titles.
Get sloshed and talk about GPVWC.
That sounds absolutely amazing.
Or Tom's title. You never know.
Yeah, but so that was the game that Carlos came up with. I love it. I think my team would win.
I love the idea for the game as well, Carlos. I think this is really good.
We'll do more. I will try to find more ideas for games.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with.
I think. I think we should do? I think we should do just some really obviously our own opinion stuff, like best and worst liveries in GPV, and not have it as like not necessarily the awards, but let's just talk rubbish about people.
Oh yeah, we can do a clown one. I'm down for doing a clown
like Raspberry Awards, like talking about who's had the worst crash of the season.
Tom Stevens.
Who did the best flip?
Tom Stevens.
It's 10 out of 10, so it's technically the best crash, no?
Worst
actually,
bug
who
of the
was
season,
it?
Thanks to our
Who was it in FS1? Someone did a really impressive flip at the Nürburgring this year. It was it Janssen Bintz? Someone did a massive, gymnastical. It was amazing.
The ballets, they always share how they practice to crash on the Discord. They do their practice crash, how they flip and so on. So ballet has a good amount of crashes to choose from as well.
True, but it's got to be in an official session. Otherwise, you could manufacture it.
Yeah. No, the best official session crash. Well, the best crash in race, I think, not in practice as well, because people mess about, don't they?
Yeah, you can manufacture that too.
Worst bit of commentary.
Oh no! Oh please no!
No, me or Alex will take that one. That's easy peasy, isn't it? Have you watched FS2?
I have. I recently rewatched Australia, and it was quite something.
My uyuyui are up there as well.
But I do like the idea of doing a podcast which is just about completely like unobjective things that you could just make up. I did a podcast at the start of this year where myself and a couple of friends came up with our own like 1 to 10 rating for all of the Formula One liveries, and then ranked them to determine what the ultimate Formula One livery is. And it was so funny because there were the liveries
Rumor.
Huh?
To AK Hero? Rumor?
Is that an AK Hero?
Oh,
Yes. It is.
Nice.
No, the funniest thing was that it actually tended to be the least inspiring liveries that did better.
Yeah.
Because the more flashy liveries, and some people would love them, some people would hate them. Some people, the Alpine, some people rated it a 10, some people rated it a 1 or whatever. It would,
It's definitely a 1.
Stuff like. See, I like it. I'm sorry, I like it.
It's awful.
But you know what? Team won. All in all, it was Mercedes. People on that podcast, myself and my friends, voted Mercedes the best livery of the 2025 season.
See, I like a simpler livery. I think liveries and helmet designs as well have got very complicated in the last 10 years, especially. And you have all this detail going on, and I like a bold, strong color. There's a reason that like the late 80s Lotuses with the yellow tobacco branding. You've just got plain yellow. It's such a strong look. You can just imagine that car in your head. You can imagine what a Ferrari from the 90s looks like with black wings and, the Scarlet Ferraris with black wings. You can imagine what the McLarens of the 80s look like. If I asked you to redraw like a Force India from like 2018, like where would you start?
Pink. Lots of pink.
2018, like when it was silver, orange and black and green and...
That was earlier. They were pink by 2018.
Were they?
Yeah, 2016 was their last year in silver.
Was it? Do you have this opinion?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have this opinion because you cannot do big designs, or?
Excuse me. No, thank you. Back off. But you're right. Yes. I can't be bothered. I really can't be bothered.
It is a joke.
No. I just can't be bothered to put hours and hours and hours into the livery. I just want to make it, get it done. And
it's fair enough.
So, it doesn't take me long to put it's what I do for a living, and so I come home from work and then having to then do more liveries when I get home has been very dull for me. So I don't mind doing the odd special livery and stuff, but I also want it to look good on there from like TV cams and stuff. And I appreciate the detail that some people like Neil's for Gallery 82, his liveries are so good from like a design point of view. And they're like really crisp lines, and he puts loads of attention to detail in there, but you just don't see much of it unless you're spinning it in circles in the R-Factor menu. So anyway, look, we're waffling. We will come up with some ideas for the next podcast. The season restarts tomorrow. Formula Sprint 2. No, does it restart tomorrow? What time? When will we be watching this? Yes, the season restarts tomorrow. And it'll be Formula Sprint 2 Italian Grand Prix.
I was going to say tomorrow from when we're showing this, not recording it. Yeah, I get it. I
had to do the maths in my head. So tomorrow, Tuesday evening, will be Formula Sprint 2, Alex, Folks, and myself. Then Formula Sprint 1 a couple of days later, and then followed by an academy round, which I'm not sure exactly what the location will be, but and then we've got Super Lights, which will be Carlos Martin commentating on that, hoping to see his team be the champion. Get your t-shirt out.
We're doing great. I'm happy with
that. Super League on Thursday with Caitlin and Ed. Are you looking forward to being back behind the mic, Caitlin?
Yeah, absolutely. I was gutted to miss the last one. Unfortunately, was it my partner's birthday? Like, how dare they have a birthday on a Super League day? I couldn't believe it. But anyway, there you go. So yeah,
Caitlin said, she says obviously a long season. There's a few races left. Are you looking forward to being back behind the mic come next week, Tuesday?
Yeah, I can't wait for it. It's going to be very exciting and fierce fighting race because Monza is what it offers. There's not much strategy-wise. It's plain and simple what to do. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Excelente. For me, it's going to be fun to be speaking with Alex once again and talking about the FS2 action, and hopefully, we'll be doing it. Well, we will be doing another podcast. I don't know exactly how we do it, but hopefully that'll be at the end of the season, and talking about how we were so wrong with our picks. Big shout out to Remco and obviously. Carlos put most of the format of all of the podcasts together for this year, so thank you, Carlos, and Remco for the graphics that you've looked at today. Caitlin, thank you for coming as well. I've been Toby Davis. I will see you soon, and hope you've enjoyed this one, and we'll be back.
Thank you. Goodbye.